Welcome to Candid Conversations with the real Dr. Rich.
It's all about me and you. Let's have a candid conversation.
Listen, that theme music is a banger. It's a smash. It's a smash, if I do say so myself. Want to send a shout out to the producer, my former producer, Dula, Anthony Dula Holmes. Hey, what's up? What it do, Dula? So, for many of you who are listening, you may not know Anthony Holmes, aka Dula, but you may have heard of his son, who is professionally known as Hit Kid. And you know Hit Kid from Glorilla, from the M Town. So, yeah, it's M Town representing, baby. So, wanted to give a huge shout out to Dula. Today is Tuesday, November 5th. And listen, hopefully you've already been out to vote today. You've expressed your right to vote, your voice, your vote. So yeah, do your thing, baby. And if you've chosen or elected not listen, that play on words, pun intended. If you've elected not to vote, then that's your right. Listen, I'm not here to beef with anybody. I don't know why we're so obsessed with what other people's voting rights are, what their opinions are, what their stances are. It's their personal views, and it's the way that they want to vote. I mean, no matter what side of the aisle we're on. That's why it never ceases to amaze me how bitter and frustrated we can be because of someone's political stance. I mean, if I'm of either party, either one of them, Republican, Democrat, Independent, what does that have to do with you? Why are you so agitated and angry about my political view or my political stance? I'm not aggravated or annoyed by yours. It's a deeper problem, people. That's all I'll say. But anyway, I voted. Dr. Rich has indeed voted today, and I was glad to do so. Listen, again, welcome to Candid Conversations with your hostess, with the mostest. It's me, the real Dr. Rich. The polling lines have been long in many of the areas here in the tri-state area: Arkansas, Tennessee, Mississippi, Tennessee, Arkansas, however you want to say it. But there have been some long lines. Glad I got up early enough to get out to vote and to have my vote counted. I don't want to be on the aisle of complainers when I didn't do my civic duty to go out and vote. It's my right, and not only is it my right, but it's my privilege to do so. I'm going to do it. I'm going to exercise my right to vote. And for those of you who did, again, I don't want to be redundant, but glad that you did so. Listen, today's topic, I'm excited to dig in deep today. We're talking about it today. We're talking about it today. What are we talking about? We're talking about narcissistic enablers and how to spot them, how to definitely recognize them. Yeah, how to recognize them. Hey, thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining me. Thank you so much for joining today. But I'm going to tell you, thank you for sharing this. If you want to do so, I would ask you to share. I'm trying to build up my own channel now. I've come to know and realize that I need to do what is a part of my purpose, the bigger purpose, and stop trying to fly under the radar. I have several platforms, and I've been called to do many things, and this is one of them. However, I do want to say this, and I can't stress it enough. I'm a solutions focused individual. Solutions focused, meaning I don't want to just talk about it. I want to be about it. I want there to be action in what I am sharing. So today, as I discuss, Dr. Rich, let's talk about it. We're going to talk about the issues that you're facing and the dreams that you're chasing. See, it's not just one sided. We have two sides of the coins. We can, if you're not facing any issues at this particular moment, then let's talk about the dreams that you're chasing. Let's talk about that. And if you're not chasing any dreams because of the issues that you're facing, we can talk about the issues that you're facing. Dr. Rich has the tools. We can talk about it. Yeah, that was right on time. So, anyway, how to avoid enabling a narc. Listen, there are ways. Many of us have narcissists in our families. We're friends with narcissists. We are co-workers with narcissists. It's like we can't get around it. But listen, here's my disclaimer. It's not up to us to diagnose anyone unless we're diagnosing ourselves. And I'll say even in that arena, it's challenging. You probably, we shouldn't even do that. We should go to the professionals or the experts. Don't do it ourselves because we don't have all the tools and the resources, or even the bare minimum tools or resources to be able to diagnose someone else. We're going about it because of what we've heard someone else say, because of certain check marks, but there's an extensive list. um, I have my DSM 4 manual, and I don't even have the latest DSM manual, which is the DSM 5. I don't even own that one. Excuse me. I don't even own that one. And I am still learning. I'm learning from the behaviorists. I'm learning from the psychologist and the psychiatrist. I'm still earning CEUs to be able to do that. But without a proper assessment, we do it no justice. But listen, I will be back to discuss this portion. Let me just add this right now before I delve in. There is a difference between narcissism and toxic or dysfunctional relationships. Somebody may just be a not just a good person to be in a relationship with. That doesn't mean that you can diagnose them as being a narcissist. You don't have the tools, and I'm telling you that. You're not equipped to do it unless you have earned certain credentials and certain types of certifications to do it. And we still probably need to do a one-on-one. That's why we have telehealth. Now, you could do online therapy, find a therapist, but definitely don't attempt to diagnose someone else or even yourselves. So that's my disclaimer. But in the future, the not so distant future, Dr. Rich will be discussing those who are just maybe not knowing how to be in a healthy relationship, may have some trauma from the past, or maybe it may not even be trauma from the past. It just may be because no one has really called them out on their type of relationship behavior or the patterns and behaviors that they've learned from social media, as it were. Maybe someone learned from their peer group how to treat their partner. I didn't say spouse because so many people are in partnerships or situationships, but I'm going to delve in. But I just want to tell you that not everyone is toxic, not everyone is dysfunctional. We use those terms so loosely, and it's so nuanced today, and it's so abused. Those words are so abused, but we need to learn, and not just from online searches, what those terms truly are, because it's so much. It's too much for me to even do a brief live today. But I do want to discuss how to avoid enabling narcissists, and not only that, but red flags of an enabler. Who are these enablers? What do they look like? So here's the first thing: enablers are fear driven. Those who enable narcissists, listen, I'm not talking about if you can't help but work with this individual, or you're related to this individual, or you have a mutual friendship. You have a friends circle, and they're kind of like an associate, not quite a friend. You all may hang out from time to time, periodically. You may go grab dinner or drinks together. Okay. That's maybe not too detrimental to your well being. But if you are in a close relationship with a narcissist and you have witnessed a pattern, I'm not talking about an incident here or there, a few here or there throughout the years, but a pattern, day in, day out, month in, month out, week in, week out, year in, year out, then that is definitely a pattern of behavior. That's a pattern. It doesn't change. And it's almost always the same trigger. And we can't blame these triggers on our behaviors. There is help available. See, that's an excuse. That's going to be another topic I discuss, excuses. And, those enablers who are tied to narcissists, they are fear driven. They're driven by fear. They're anxious almost always. They're not rested in their spirit. And I could take this a different route because I am a woman of faith. But it is definitely a pattern of fear, and you can see the fear most always. They rarely, if ever, want to challenge the narcissist about the poor behavior. And maybe because of the guilt that they have themselves inwardly, or maybe it's because of another point that I have on down on my list. I'm not going to say it right now, but definitely fear driven. So we know from the word of God that God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of love, power, and soundness of mind. God definitely has not given us a spirit of fear. And if and when, this is another point, if and when these enablers should say something, I don't know, maybe one day they wake up and they're like, I got to say something, God, or, their conscious or whatever, what have you, is, leading them to say something. And they do say something. They're walking on eggshells. They're walking on eggshells. These are enablers. This is what they look like. It's like, everybody sees it, everybody witnesses it. It's like I said, it's a pattern, it's a history, it's continues throughout, the time period of their lifespan. And, these enablers won't say anything. So, and when they do, they're walking on eggshells, because they want to keep the friendship. And keep in mind, I'm going to tell you, there's a reason other than fear that they're seeking to hold on to this relationship. There may be, the third point is these enablers have some type of financial or material gain. Some type of financial or material gain. Thanks for joining those. Okay, thank you. Yes, for joining us live today. This is Candid Conversations with the Real Dr. Rich. I'll be sharing my new YouTube channel with you very soon. I want to shout out to Pastor R, the Preaching Idris. Thank you so much for all of your assistance. I want to thank Simone. Thank you so much for your assistance with the new YouTube channel. Thank you, Leah Camille, as well, for what you have done and for your assistance with commercials for the new Dr. Rich Educates YouTube channel. I look forward to even you, Star. Thank you so much for your assistance. Let's get back into this. So, yes, there is some type of monetary or material gain for the enabler. You can bet your bottom dollar that there is some type of material or monetary gain for them enabling the narcissist behavior. There's some type of relationship where they are receiving. Anyone who supports narcissistic behavior, never saying anything, and when they do, I should say rarely, not never, rarely saying anything, and when they do, they're walking on eggshells, they're trying to pretty it up. It's no real challenge for the narcissist. And the narcissist knows this. Please know, they know all too well. There's a lack of prayer as well from the enablers who consider themselves to be believers. They won't bring the word of God to the individual. What they do is they sit back and they watch the behavior. They may gossip about the behavior, but they definitely won't challenge it. And again, that's a gray area. I know we don't like gray areas, but I say that because it depends on the type of relationship. If this relationship is not close, then maybe the enabler won't say anything. But if there's a close relationship and you have the narcissist's ear and you're still in relationship, close relationship, you're talking to them throughout the week, you don't miss weeks and months without talking to them, then you have a close enough relationship where you should be able to challenge them. And not that it's going to do much good, because if you're still accepting financial gifts, if you're still accepting material gifts, if you're still walking in fear, never proclaiming God, you may pray, but you're not proclaiming God and professing God to them, and even turning them, or because there's a God complex involved with the narcissist. You have to know that going in. The narcissist definitely owns or possesses a God complex. Again, this is the real Dr. Rich, and I don't copy and paste what other people say. I have to be led by Holy Spirit. I have to be led by Ruach HaKodesh with what I share. Some of this may be in other posts or shares or lives, even the DSM 4 and 5 manuals, but this is a combination of what has been studied over time as well in those manuals, as well as my history with counseling and being a mental health paraprofessional, as well as what I do as an educator and as a woman of faith. So those are a combination. Another hallmark of the enabler is they are often a part of the smear campaign, meaning the narcissist, I'm not going to say once you, I was getting ready to say once you anger the narcissist, but I won't even take ownership. I won't allow those who follow me to take ownership for the narcissist behavior. No, we're giving that back. See, that's something different. I probably will see others who teach on this following my lead now, because I haven't seen that being said. Again, I'm a solutions focused strategist. That's what I do. I'm looking for solutions. I'm not looking for a pity party or a pity campaign. I am looking for solutions to our problems. So that's one. I've already said it. This is one area of solution that we have to disown and disavow ownership of the narcissist behavior and emotional imbalance. Once the narcissist becomes angry or enraged with the supply, depends on what side you're on. Either you're the narcissist or you're the supply, or you're somewhere in that vicinity. They will begin a smear campaign. The enabler won't say anything. They're quiet. They hear them out, listening, because again, they have a dog in the fight, and that's their materialistic gain. That's their materialistic gain. You, as a renewed, freed supply, have to accept your freedom, accept your liberty, accept things as they are. You'll heal, you'll be better, you'll move on in life. People will criticize, people will continue to poke at you, to make excuses about lies about you, when the truth will suffice. All of us have made mistakes. So I don't know why the truth won't suffice, but with a narcissist and their enablers, the truth just does not suffice. They have to add, they have to embellish, they have to lie, they have to do so much more and it's to feed that ego. It's to feed their insecurities as well. So again, the enabler will definitely join in the reindeer games. And the reindeer games involve smear campaigns. They will do any and everything. They won't ever confront you. They won't ever talk to you in truth. And even when they do, it'll be a lot of running around and lying. It'll be a lot of nonsensical conversations. It'll be a lot of just foolish babbling and banter. No real solutions, no progression, just a lot of projection as well. It'll be a lot of projection. Their own fears and thoughts about themselves will be projected onto you, and they'll say it in a way or a manner that will seek to have your mind, have you, which is another hallmark of the narcissist and their enablers. Potentially, their enablers will also gaslight. They will do that. That's a part of their arsenal. So, um, again, that's what they do. So, along with that, you will see in these enablers some of the characteristics of the narcissist, meaning not all, but the enablers will sometimes or oftentimes take on some of the characteristics of the narcissist, meaning they'll join in the reindeer games as far as the smear campaigns. They'll project how they feel about themselves onto you because, again, this is a part of the fear. This is a part of the fear. But if you are a believer, it may be challenging, but what you'll have to do is turn to the word of God. Don't speak ill of them. And like I said, I may not be, and I know I'm not, like a lot of other coaches, a lot of other narcissist recovery coaches, and those professionals or even experts. However, I have to do it the way that God has told me. What I believe is one solution is you turn to God. It may be lonely for you. It may be challenging. You may lose friends. You may lose family. You may even second guess yourself. But one thing you do is you trust God in the process. Trust God. Don't force anybody to do anything. That's the narcissist's job. They attempt to force people to make an allegiance to them. And most times it's like a bulk vote. You know, you can buy somebody off. You can buy them. I remember one of my girlfriends used to say, you could have bought them for a penny. Some people, it may not be a penny you can buy them for, but if you do what they want you to do, and again, I'm thinking about a movie. I'm not going to plug the movie because I don't even remember the name of it. But the dark side of the guy, he would always say, give me what I want and I'll go away. That's how enablers are. You know, give me what I want, and you know, I'm going to stick with you. I'm a Christian, but I'm going to stick with you. I'm gonna hold you down 10 toes. I'm on your team. It's not a gray area when it comes to that unless you are really called by God. There is no way that you could be a man or woman of God, a man or woman of faith, a kingdom son or daughter, and be okay with how a narcissist lives unless you're being bought, unless you're a hireling. Yeah, I heard that term recently. I've read it and Pastor R has taught on it, that passage of scripture so much. And it's in reference to leaders in ministry, but I'm using it here in reference to enablers and how they move. You know, they're a part of the narcissist team. They're a part of their arsenal. They're a part of their circle. And so unless you're really, really anointed, you really can't be cool with the narcissist and cool with the ones they abuse, the supply. That's what they're called, the supply, the narc and the supply. You'll have to select sides, even if that means from, you know, you're being kind because maybe God has not really released you um, to deal with them a certain way, you know, like what everybody tells you. Um, but you have to be certain that you're not a part of um, the way that they do things in abusing the supply even more than what they've already been abused. So one way to avoid enabling a narcissist, one way, I'm going to give you about four or five, then I'm going to end this live. today. Again, thank you for those of you playing this or viewing this in replay. Share it if you choose. If not, also to help promote the channel, I would love for you, once we become more familiar, to either sow a seed here or with Extreme Life Changers. There is aside from the ministry itself, there is a 501c3 organization. Aside from the church, there's a standalone ministry. So please, by all means, I think Pastor R, the preaching Idris, will be he will be forming another form of payment for you all who would love to sow a seed. If you don't really want to sow it to a personal seed, then yeah, give me what I want and I will go away. Yes, that's what they say. Um, but sometimes we not gonna do that. But anyway, Pastor R will be he will be he will be developing another cash app probably. So anyway, let's finish this up. Let's wrap this up and let's go. Don't feed their need for validation. Listen, the narcissist always seeks to be validated. Um, that could be a part of the imposter syndrome. It could be also a part of their feeling rejection or not feeling or being believed that they are the persona that they put out, that they are who they present to the public. And most times they're not. They're not who they present. Listen, again, we're not talking about people who have a hiccup here and there. That happens. I'm talking about people who week in, week out, you know what their triggers are no matter what. You know, if they're angry, if somebody owes them money, or if someone says something to them, or whether it's a family member, a co-worker, or a friend, it just depends on who they are and who they don't care, who knows the real them. Some people will hide it really good. You know, they'll hide it really well, you know, who they are from the public. But you can't hide anger. You can't hide anger for too long. If someone makes you, I mean, if you're angry with someone about any subject matter, and you know, you have the same pattern most of the time, especially in families or especially in tight knit friendships. You know, friends know friends. You know, this is the way that they are. You know, they can't control it. If this is who they are, they're going to be that way in front of anyone at any time. But I tell you, you can see it and you'll know it. But anyway, um, don't seek or accept validation from them. Don't seek validation from a narcissist. Don't get your validation from them. Don't seek attention from them, because once you do that, you're probably at the verge or the cusp of being an enabler. Probably so. If you're looking to be validated by a narcissist, you look for them to tell you you're a great wife, you're a great mom, you're a great friend. You need to hear this yourself. You're probably at the cusp, if you haven't already crossed over, of being an enabler, because you're seeking validation from an individual who abuses their God given life to abuse someone else, to control, manipulate others, to wield their power, their authority, their money around, and their lies, that lying tongue. You know, it's just, you can see it in their behaviors and patterns. So, anyway, that's one way. So don't seek validation from. Get your validation. I don't know, everyone watching me or viewing me, whether live or in replay, may not be a believer. So if you're not a believer, write down and believe your own affirmations, whatever you know to be true about yourself, because you can best believe the narcissist is coming from you. So do that. Speak life to yourself. Write it down. Um, Write it on slips of paper, write it in your journal, whatever you have to do to make yourself aware of who you are and to remind yourself who you are. Do that. So if you're, like I said, I don't want to sound redundant, but just don't look for the narcissist to validate you. That's what I'm trying to say. Don't look for the narcissist to validate you, because once you do that, you'll get into that web that they weave. So anyway, the next one is don't accept monetary or material gifts on a regular basis. That sucks you in. And it's almost like how we talk, and I'm saying we as a whole, generally speaking, that's how we talk about some leaders in corporate and in the religious world. We have a problem with that. We'll say pastors have been bought, the members are giving to them so they can't really preach the word of God. It's the same way with the narcissistic relationships. It's the same way. When you do things like that, when you begin receiving and expecting monetary or material gifts, then that's what it's going to end up. You're going to be, more than likely, you're going to become an enabler, and that's not a good thing. So, yeah, be careful with that. Reject regular gossip or gossip at all. The Bible tells us in Ephesians to avoid corrupt communication. Don't even let it come out of our mouths. If most of the time, that's what narcissists and their enablers have in common. They gossip. They gossip about everyone, and will grin in your face and say that they're your biggest supporters, they're your biggest fans, they're your biggest this and biggest that, and all along, it's not true. I hate to break it to you, but that's the relationship between most. I said most because this is not cookie cutter. Most narcissist enabler relationships are gossip fueled. That's all they do. I mean, they won't look at it as being that, but that's what it is. Here, let me give you this little nugget. I'm so excited to give this to you. So, what you may want to do, and it's not always suggested to do, but it depends on where you are. This is what a lot or a great number of supply has done and continue to do. They go no contact. That may be hard, especially for those who have been enablers for so long. They have enabled the narcissist to keep up the abuse, and they deal with it silently or within a confined circle. And nobody really knows. Nobody's going to talk about it. But once you make up your mind to no longer be that supply, the whole world would know. That's a part of the smear campaign. And enablers definitely jump on the train. But for those of you who are no longer supply for the narcissist and their enablers or their flying monkeys, I want to encourage you to continue to be okay with life's changes. Everyone won't have the courage that you've had. And maybe it's not your season right now. Maybe there is something still that God, I told you I'm solutions focused. I won't hear a lot of narcissist professionals or experts saying this, but I'm kind of a rogue, ROGUE. I'm kind of a rebel. That's what Leah always says to me. I do things in a different manner. I'm solutions focused. It's going to be very hard, and I won't lie to you and say it won't. But maybe for a season, God has you there to do a certain thing, but only you and God will know. But if it's contaminating who you are as a believer, I say, get out. Like the movie, Get Out. Yeah, get out. It's time for you to leave. It's time for you to do something different. It's time for you to trust God, to reject fear. So do that. But definitely reject or resist gossip, fuel fest with the narcissist, because you're almost certain to become an enabler if you're doing that on a regular continuum with them. Yeah, but no contact, it's a winner in most cases. It's difficult, but it's a winner. It's definitely a winner. Hold them and yourself accountable and responsible for what is said and done. Don't just hold them accountable, hold yourself accountable, but hold them responsible for the words that they speak and the actions that they do. A lot of times it's like, as you all know, many of you follow me on social media. I'm not on the Facebook, Meta. I'm not very active on X, but I am very active on Instagram. And so on there, I'd love for you to follow me on For Kids Sake Memphis, For Kids Sake Inc. For Kids Sake. Follow me there, or even see Denise Ministries, because I just want to tell you, I'm bringing up For Kids Sake because I'm about to make a point that correlates with what I'm discussing today. There are more people, the majority of people, I know it's going to be hard to believe, but the majority of people support CSA perps. I have to be careful how I'm saying this because I know there are things that you can and can't say on this particular platform. So, what I mean by that is I'm going to have to learn the lingo that I can say on here. There are those who when I say support, I mean don't turn them in, don't report them, tell the children to be quiet, or tell the person who's being uh, SA'd, we're going to handle it in house, things of that nature. I'm paraphrasing, but this is just what's coming to me as a professional in the field. We're going to handle it in the home. See, now, like with me, I'm a mandated reporter. And also, if there's things going on in the home, I will call in a therapist, because everything I do is not going to be on social media, just like everything that goes on with you, my lovely, is not going to be on social media. Some things are just private. But what I will say is this: sweeping things under the rug, not wanting to discuss them, because I think I have another live where I discuss SA, child SA, and there's a reality star who's calling out her older sibling for SAing her. And I don't know if it's really, if the route to go was necessarily reality television. Therapy is needed. It's just so much that goes on, since everybody wants to be a celebrity or a reality star. No one is getting real healing. So I promote real therapy, real healing, and real healing in most cases does not come from just saying something on a reality show or even here. That's why I'm solutions based. I'm solutions focused. I did a conference in Cincinnati at the largest CSA gathering, and I discussed it. Having a trauma informed society and trauma informed response to various types of trauma. I'm not active on X. No, I'm not, Raven. I'm not. I'm going to get back on my platforms. But let me just say this. I'm going to do a sidebar, aside from what I'm actually discussing, just to answer this particular individual. So there was a time in my life where I hit a funk. I didn't want to do lives anymore. I didn't want to create content anymore, because all I saw was people being nasty, mean spirited, and evil, wicked, and vile. Demonic, even. I just didn't want to do it anymore, because I felt like people didn't want help. They wanted clout. Did you get that? They didn't want help. They were seeking clout, attention, just validation, and all those types of things. Want to be revered by people for being a mom. I mean, it's good to be told certain things, but isn't that what you're supposed to be doing? Dads, aren't you supposed to be a dad? I don't get it. I mean, seeking accolade, aren't you supposed to be a wife or a husband? Like I say, a lot of us are winning in most areas, but even winning in 8 areas and missing it two, you're still missing it somewhere. I'm not saying you're failing, but I'm just saying we have to mellow ourselves out, humble ourselves, as Paul would say. Be humble, be abased. But there was a time where I hit a funk and I didn't want to do it anymore. It just seemed like a waste of time. But God, in his infinite wisdom, will always remind us of who we are and who we've been called to and what purpose we're called for. So let me wrap this up. Oh, I did give you my last point. So, yes, hold ourselves accountable and hold the narcissist responsible. Hold ourselves accountable for what we hear and what we say, especially when it's out of anger, even righteous anger. That's funny. It's funny to me for any number of reasons, because some of us just, who Lord have mercy. But anyway, I'm excited. Thank you for joining. And it's my time. I'm about to wrap up. And thank you for joining. Look out for Extreme Life Changers coming to a brick and mortar. Okay, thank you all again for joining me, the hostess with the mostest. And if you haven't been out and you would like to get out, to vote. Yes, to vote. Like I said, if you don't, I'm not here to pick a beef with you. I'm not here to gripe with you. Don't. But if you would like to get out and vote, get out and let your voice be heard. Vote. I did. It's been real. This is the realest one, Dr. Rich. Until next time, I'm excited to be here with you. Connect with us on Extreme Life Changers Ministries, as well as Candid Conversations. At I think that page is Dr. Rich Educates. That YouTube page will be up really soon, within the next 24 hours. Thank you, Pastor R. Thank you, viewers, and share, share, share. Until next time.
Candid conversation. No topic is taboo.
Now, Pastor R, you got condition on your love for me? Or you gonna just let me do what I wanna do?
Yeah, I'm what do we call a man.
Let's have